Heavy rain, warm temperatures, and melting snow making for scenes like this all across the inland northwest tonight. Near Kingston, 3 people had to be rescued by boat. Roads around Clark Fork washed out.
It's crumbled off into the river.
Calmer weather returns to the inland northwest, but flood concerns remain.
Meantime, in western Washington, the situation is even worse as historic flooding cuts off entire towns and prompts evacuations. The KREM 2 Night Report starts right now.
Where the river is moving now, where the flooding is moving, is to a more highly populated area, considerably so. So that's exposing tens of thousands of more Washingtonians to this flood.
That is Washington Governor Bob Ferguson warning people on what is to come as rivers on the west side of the state are overflowing their banks. As many as 100,000 people face potential evacuations amid the historic flooding. Meantime, in North Idaho, flooding prompted officials in Bonner County to declare a state of emergency. Clark Fork being hit especially hard tonight. In Shoshone County, Kingston also dealing with rising water. And tonight, the flooding extends into Montana. The Lincoln County commissioners have declared a state of emergency, and an emergency operations center has been opened after flooding there. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We start tonight in Shoshone County, where the worst is yet to come. Here is a look at a dramatic rescue in Kingston today, about 8 miles up Coeur d'Alene River Road. Silver Valley Fire and Shoshone County deputies rescued 3 people today, including a child. No one was hurt. The family was trapped in their home as the Coeur d'Alene River continues to rise. Just hours ago, Shoshone County officials declaring a state of emergency due to flooding concerns. And this is a look at East Spring Creek Road near Clark Fork right now. Lightning Creek closed to washing out the entire road. Right now, evacuations in place for residents living near that road. Meantime, the entire town of Clark Fork under a boil order tonight as some of the pipes have been washed away. KREM 2's Christian Garza went to Bonner County today, where crews are watching the rising water levels closely.
We are just feet away from Lightning Creek, where quite literally the road is deteriorating by the minute. Let's take a look at what I'm seeing right now. Now, I spoke to some residents earlier today that say this road was completely intact just hours ago. As you can see, the creek is just moving very, very fast, and it's very, very high here in the area. Honestly, since we've been here at Clark Fork, this road has just been peeling off in chunks. Now, this is just a glimpse of what residents have been dealing with for the last couple of days with the rainy weather that they've been seeing here in North Idaho. As the creeks continue to flood,
Every once in a while, every decade or so, it floods.
I'm watching the road go by.
residents and law enforcement alike are left wondering what the aftermath of this weather event in their small town will look like.
We have a lot of roads washed out.
Wes Johnson, the incident commander for Clark Fork Fire Department, says it's not just the roads, though. It's also the town's main water system that was washed away as well, causing a water boil advisory for the time being. CFFD says work started around 2:30 in the morning, evacuating close to 100 residents along the Spring and Lightning Creeks.
Well, what's really made it difficult is our main road going in is not passable anymore. It's crumbled off into the river.
2 evacuation sites have been made available, one inside of Clark Fork and the other at the Sandpoint Fairgrounds. This isn't the first time something like this has happened to the town of Clark Fork, but residents like Diane Newcomer says it definitely doesn't happen often.
We're newcomers, but we came in 1960.
She heard boulders falling into the rushing water all night, but she says she never could have imagined this amount of damage when she woke up.
Well, we did the chores this morning, and I said, let's go look up the creek, thinking that we would go to the East Fork, which is 5 miles up farther. We didn't get anywhere near that far.
With more wet weather in the forecast, John says crews will be out all night making sure people are able to get back safely. However, it will still be a long time before Clark Fork looks the way it did just earlier this week.
Lots of repair.
Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Meantime, Western Washington bracing for historic flooding tonight. Torrential rain caused a mudslide to crash down on I-90 east of Seattle. The governor says overnight the number of highways closed has doubled to at least 30. Crews have been working around the clock to rescue people from flooded neighborhoods. Snohomish County residents even evacuating their cows earlier today. Meantime, in Mount Vernon, the flood walls are up and being tested, with the Skagit River expected to hit record levels in just a few hours. New video just into the newsroom from the Kittitas County Sheriff's Office. A landslide in Cle Elum destroyed the first floor of a home. You can see the path of that slide that slammed right into the wall. The Sheriff's Office there reminding residents to exercise caution right now.
Literally, the report we received from the National Weather Service less than 24 hours ago was the situation is potentially catastrophic. That's their term, and also has the potential for significant loss of life. And that is still the threat that we're under really across Washington state and many counties right now.
Governor Ferguson there speaking about the flooding. He also said people seem to be following the evacuation orders, and so far there's been no loss of life. Well, tonight, local fire crews from Spokane Valley Fire are deploying to Western Washington to help the communities impacted by the historic flooding. Today, crews conducted 2 rescues involving residents who were unable to leave their homes while crews searched a flooded neighborhood in Skagit County. The question tonight locally, when will the water start to recede? For more on that, let's head outside right now to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy?
Mark, I'm standing out here on the back patio. It is in the 40s and rain is coming down, but it's a light rain. Not enough that I would even be concerned about an umbrella. But we do have those flood warnings still in place. The ones outside of Clark Fork for the Lightning Creek and Spring Creek, and the one for the Coeur d'Alene River near Cataldo. Those rivers are likely going to peak overnight tonight and start subsiding throughout the day. Tomorrow, they will likely fall below flood stage on Saturday. So we still aren't in the clear just yet. There's some of that light moisture coming down. It is going to continue to slowly lift up and then break up overnight. So I don't think we have any more significant moisture in the forecast, but we still have mountain runoff. That's why those rivers are still rising for the next few hours. It eventually becomes much calmer, and by Saturday afternoon, we are looking at sunshine returning to much of the region. But sunshine and warm weather. The good news is we have already melted a lot of the snow up in the mountains. So at temperatures near 50 degrees each day here in Spokane, it's pretty safe to say snow is not in the forecast anytime soon. However, it does start to look like we have more rain coming next week, along with another round of warm temperatures. And we'll talk that in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the broadcast tonight. And stay with us as we continue to track historic flooding across Washington state and into Idaho. Get the latest updates on weather in the Pacific Northwest and beyond in our Weather Out West series. It is streaming right now on KREM 2+. Just download on your TV and watch for free. All right, time for our Night Beat with a quick look at the day's top stories today. A Michigan man died from rabies because of a kidney transplant that came from a donor in Idaho. He died back in January, but now the CDC is confirming what happened. Investigators say a skunk scratched the donor about 6 weeks before he died. Turns out he had the silver-haired bat variant of rabies. Since he was an organ donor, when he died, his infected kidney ended up in Michigan. Luckily, nobody else who received his organs were infected, and the state got rid of a few other organs just to be safe, they said. New tonight, 2 Washington men are facing multiple felony charges after allegedly killing and wasting a trophy bull moose in Idaho. According to Idaho Fish and Game, the men allegedly killed the moose on November 25th near Twin Lakes. Fish and Game officers were tipped off by a neighbor and found the moose only partially quartered, with the hide still intact more than 24 hours after the kill. The men, who have not been identified at this point, are now charged with unlawful take and waste of a bull moose, as well as concealment of evidence. Now to some good news tonight. More than a year into his recovery, an Idaho firefighter is finally heading home. Last August, a tree hit Justin Shaw while he was helping to fight the coffee can saddle fire in the Nez Perce Clearwater National Forest. Shaw suffered a traumatic brain injury and now uses a wheelchair. He's been recovering at multiple facilities around the country and is currently at a facility in Omaha, Nebraska. After 6 surgeries and 16 months of rehabilitation, he is set to fly home on Monday. And that'll do it for your Night Beat. For more information on any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, tonight we are learning about a new tool unveiled by the Spokane Police Department, which they say will help people better understand crime in the community. The Spokane Police Department dashboard was created to give people a view of police activity within the city. You can also explore data on calls for service, traffic enforcement, collisions, and reported crimes. Police say the information is updated regularly to help the community stay informed about public safety.
There's a narrative out there where people, their perception of safety and crime doesn't always align with the actual numbers. And so we wanted to try and bring those together a little closer and maybe give people greater confidence in their ability to determine how safe their neighborhood is, how safe their downtown is, and how safe their city is.
Police say these dashboards are meant to increase transparency, not to compare neighborhoods or draw conclusions about crime trends without context. All right, still ahead tonight. If your plans include the downtown Spokane skate ribbon, you'll have to call an audible. The warm weather prompting crews to temporarily close it when they hope to reopen, coming up. But first, Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norvis bans the Coeur d'Alene and Rathdrum police chiefs from working outside their cities. What that means in 90 seconds.